Ladies and gentlemen, K Kim here. Welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading today. Today is the first day of trading for the month of October. And the market is up. S&P is up about 0.6% there. Today, the market was led by the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is close to 1.6%, I believe. Small caps was up there also. Semiconductor close to 2%. Dow lagged. And I think also banks lagged also. So it was the semiconductor. I saw a lot of semiconductor stocks broke out today. And the NASDAQ. And they were the leaders. And those leaders kept the market going today. But S&P is up 6% or 0.6%, and we're going to analyze it today. Trying to figure out, we've been analyzing this week, and it was very important. Like, I think this week's price action was incredibly important because we are witnessing 10% corrections since the peak September 2nd, right? So we did see one whole month of correctional phase in September. And I think early on this week on Monday with this gap up, the posture changed a little bit. And you guys remember that as we've been analyzing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which is today's Thursday. So this was Monday's action. So Monday, Tuesday, looks like that's a Wednesday. And this is Thursday. So, despite the fact that this week, it looks like market really hasn't gone anywhere. That's what it feels like. Because you can see this was a Monday. I mean, obviously, this is where it closed on Friday. So we saw that big gap up. And then we advanced a little bit from here to here this week. But I think the biggest question was when we did see that gap up, we start seeing my oscillator getting into that overbought level. And we've been tracking this, talking about this, analyzing this every single day this week because we came from 320 and it went all the way to 335 in just a couple days, right? So after this kind of push, bulls were getting tired per my oscillator. And what we talked about on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday is that we want to see correcting through time. You let the oscillator reset while the price stays up, floating higher. We're not seeing, you see how the oscillator pulls back, price pulls back with it. Oscillator pulls back, price pulls back with it. Oscillator pulls back, price staying up. After we saw that bullish divergence, which we cover on Monday, right? Ever since then, the buyers have been very, very adamant. And I think the key factor, which we talked about on Monday, is that this gap up, right? We talked about this gap. And we talked about how we want to see, the buyers want to see this gap getting sustained, right? Not getting filled. Buyers make sure to protect this gap, and they did that this entire week, despite the fact that we hit that overbought level on Monday. So today's Thursday, and since Monday, my oscillator has been pulling back ever since getting resetted. While the price has been, there's some volatilities there. You can see there are a lot of lower wicks representing buyers are protecting this vicinity, letting the price hang around while the oscillator it gets reset so the buyers can build that energy again and push higher. And this is exactly what buyers had to do going into this week, which we talked about on Monday, right? And that's exactly what's happening here because we didn't want to see, and we saw nice gap up after bullish divergence. Looks like some kind of double bottom here. This is a neckline, and we wanted to see the market staying up while we're at that overbought sentiment per my oscillator after this kind of push. And bull's been doing really good job here. So let me get a little bit more detail with the price action here. So looks like this was where it closed yesterday, right? Remember we talked about that's the 5th hour of last night's trading. 6th hour we closed right above, right above that, that micro term support, and managed to close above both of my moving averages here. And this gap up from yesterday morning that held, that's what became support there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move this, because that's now the micro term support now. And I'm going to move this up right here in the gap area right there. So this is a current support. We gapped up once again today, looks like from here to here. And we stayed up. Even though we didn't advance all throughout the day, I have to say the buyers won the battle today, right? Bears really wanted to materialize from this oscillator reset like they did here and here. But they didn't do that here, right? And with that, what is happening right now is this. What we have right now here is, first of all, this gap is now filled, right? We talked about that gap must be filled. This is the first sign you're going to see when the buyers are preparing to cultivate uptrend yet again. What they're going to do, right? What they're going to do is they're going to first open up their own gap, which is this one, right? That gap's still open. While this gap is open, what do buyers do? They fill this gap, killing that selling pressure from that point on, because that was the level back in 337. We went from 338, 337 to what? 320 in just several days. So there was a lot of selling pressure they came about from this gap down. That gap down just got filled. And with that, buyers are building energy. So first of all, do you see this moving averages cluster, right? Talked about a couple days ago, I titled it, this is a pivotal level, make or break level, right? And we are holding up here. And this is a great sign going into tomorrow. Obviously, we don't want to lose this. We don't want to lose this momentum here. The buyers managed to gap it up, sustain that gap, and able to get back above all my moving averages now. Long-term moving average, short-term moving average, and my mid-term moving average. They're all meeting in that vicinity. And this is very, very pivotal level. So what buyers want to see is a bounce from here. Maybe some shenanigan, okay? Maybe 332. Worst case scenario, maybe 331. Make sure this gap doesn't get filled though. This gap stays open. If that gap gets filled, it's going to get hectic. Bears are going to come down and take advantage of the situation. Why? Because in the midterm of things, we are still in the vicinity of a lower high. We already cultivated lower low. So buyers are in disadvantage if they hang around too long. They must keep this momentum going quickly. Buyers are, the price action here, the bullish price action, above my moving averages. It needs to kind of use those moving averages to prop itself up and come up here to 342. Above 342 is a bullish zone. Because once we reclaim 342, that's when you neutralize this downtrend. Because we no longer is gonna if the price gets to 342, we're no longer in a downtrend. We're gonna be in an equal highs. What does that mean? That means we're no longer in a downtrend. We're in a either basing period, right? The market is basing out, some kind of bottoming signal, right? Or some kind of we're no longer in a downtrend with the lower highs and lower lows. We're now in a consolidation phase where we see a pullback, market consolidates, bases out, and then possibly get back up, neutralizing the downtrend pressure from the sellers. So we have a lot going on here. It will be very, very important going into tomorrow and early next week. Let's check out that oscillator real quick. We talk about this level here, right? That's exactly what we talked about on Monday. When I saw my oscillator getting into the overbought level, what we needed to see is that oscillator coming back down to this support while the price hanging around, floating up. Not seeing a pullback, not correcting through price, but correcting through time. That's exactly what we're seeing here, correcting through time. So now, this oscillator is at the support. If we bounce from here, we don't have the cross yet. We had a little bit of whipsawing action there. So it's an entirely possibility that we may see a whipsawing action also. So tomorrow, if we see market advancing, there's a whole lot of room here. Whole lot of room to make a move, right? This amount of space there, you could with this thing getting up here, definitely can get up to about 342. 342 tomorrow. If buyers can utilize these moving averages and the momentum that it has built and the oscillator support. If we lose it, we're still make or break level though. I want you to understand. This is important level. We're still at that make or break level. We lose this, things gonna get ugly, things gonna get hectic, bears gonna rush in, and buyers gonna start to panic. Especially if a lot of people chased it today or something like that. We start to see some kind of shenanigan move to the downside, start losing these moving averages, start coming down and filling this gap, and the oscillators start coming down and breaking below that support because there's a long way here back down to oversold level. That's a long way. That could get this thing down to minimum 328. To fill that gap, little bounce, and then continue. So we have some good bullish momentum, but buyers going to need just a little bit more. We're very, very close. So we're still at that make or break level. Tomorrow is going to be pretty important. To see what's going to happen here with the good indications. The market, let's say tomorrow night I come back to you and market is trading at market closed the day or closed the week at 342. That's a pretty bullish signal. At that point, I would even flip my, because I've been neutral to bearish in the midterm. I'll remove the bearish label, just be neutral at the point because we're no longer downtrend anymore. And we've been labeling this market bullish in the short term ever since Monday, remember? So as of today, as of this moment, and with the data that is at hand, short term's bullish, still bullish. Midterm, neutral to bearish. Why? It's because of this, right? We're still in that lower high zone, right? Why neutral though? Because we got some momentum here that bulls can have to work something with it. So that's what we're dealing with. If the price gets to 340, 342 or something like that tomorrow by the close, it will be just completely neutral in the midterm, bullish in the short term, potentially a pullback, use the midterm moving average to prop itself up, and then this thing finally breaking out sometime next week. I'll come back for you guys tomorrow night. Tomorrow's Friday, so it'll be a weekend video, the market update video. We'll look at things a little bit more extensively. We'll look at daily chart, the NASDAQ, the Dow, and the S&P. Go from there. Enjoy your evening. Good luck trading tomorrow.